every day is Christmas in here,
Oh yes,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Accusump says it all, really. What we got down there, mate? Another box?
Well, we got a box, yeah.
This has got another box. You can see we've opened this one. We've had a little cheeky look, but I'm going to let Isaac get that out there.
Let's whip that one out.
So, for any of you that have not watched the second channel before or seen anything on the plans for the kit car with the new bike engine in, apparently, we didn't realise this, but the Blackbird engine, engines, oh, are they? Oh, that's wicked, mate. So when can you get one to us for? Lovely. Cheers to it. See you, mate. Bye.
Still rolling.
Cams are in stock. Yeah, so it's one of the very few motors when put in a car, it suffers with oil surge.
Yeah.
So we got three options really. We could baffle the sump, which not sure whether it's a bit touch and go, and looking on the old forums, which you've got to be very careful of the forums, I know, but they suggest not bothering. You could go dry sump, which I don't think they do a dry sump kit. We would have to get one made, obviously at great expense. Or there is this solution, which apparently, look at that.
Lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, apparently the Americans love it. They fit these in the monster trucks, and we've spoke to a few people that have used them in rallycross. So this is sort of the next best thing, I suppose, to a dry sump. So what you do, in a nutshell, you have a little pressure gauge here, which you can see is sitting at about 45 psi. So all this is a cylinder with a plunger in it. Put my lunchbox behind so I don't drop it. Yes, so it's got a plunger in it. At the moment, it's set right back here to its stop. And what you do, you've got a valve at the back there, which is just an air valve. And you would lower the pressure. They come, I think they come packaged with about this pressure, but you'd run about 15-20 psi of air pressure behind the plunger, and then you connect this to what should be in that box. We'll see in a minute. Get Isaac to open it. Should be a sort of sandwich plate that sits behind the oil filter on the bike. You can plumb it in by any means you can, really. Obviously the best way is to go directly into the main oil gallery. Now what this sandwich plate has is a one-way valve, so if the car drops in oil pressure and this Accusump starts feeding the oil to the engine, there's a one-way valve which stops the oil going back towards the oil pump side, which is obviously not sucking up oil because of the surge. So yeah, the idea of this is, it's when it's full of oil, the engine, when it's running, obviously charges this up, pushes oil into this, and the pressure will rise from about 15 psi up to about 70, 80. And then obviously when it's running, say you're on track, you open up a valve, so this is now all connected to the engine. And if the oil pressure, if it surges and the oil pressure drops below the pressure it normally runs at, this then starts feeding oil into the engine. This is a 2-quart tank, which is probably a bit overkill for the bike, but more oil the better, innit?
Yeah.
And this is going to probably buy us about half a minute to a minute of surging, which it obviously is not going to do. So, yeah, so it's about and braces. Let's hope that it works. There's a few ways of connecting this up to the engine, so you can have an electronic valve on this which opens up obviously electronically at certain pressure, or you can have a mechanical valve which we are going to be using. So
clamp there,
we've got the clamp kit, we've got the manual valve which we are going to obviously open. That there is your sandwich plate which goes on. It's a bit like the oil coolers really, so that goes on behind your oil filter. Apparently these gauges are a bit crap, so yeah, got the bit better, more reliable gauge. Load of fittings here apparently that we need. Yeah, what we got there?
We got that's like a ball valve sort of thing, and a bracket, a very nice bracket.
Nice.
And the cable. Which,
so what's the bracket do then?
I don't know. It says it's the cable. It says cable assembly, cable mounting bracket,
Oh, nice.
offset handle valve, ball joint cable end, brass pipe nipple.
So, as opposed to going for the electronic lazy boy system, we've gone for the manual. So, the idea is with this, you
Pull
have
the end
this
of that.
inside under your dash where you obviously can get to, and you can see that there. It's like a clutch cable, really.
And that
what
goes
you
on the
do-
end of there, I suppose. And
Yeah, it goes on the end of
opens
there.
and closes that
so
valve.
instead of using that manual one there, which you would have under the bonnet, we're going to try. We should have some. Have we got pipe work?
Yeah, there is some.
There should be about 2 meters of pipe in.
Don't know if there's that much, but there's a little reel of it there.
2 meters apparently.
Is that 2 meters? Is it?
So that we are going to mount this, hopefully, somewhere in the passenger footwell, so we can see the gauge and get to it. And then obviously the manual cable will go underneath, so we can keep it closed. So this isn't linked to the engine. And we'll obviously get the pressure up, shut it, and then when we get out on track and get the revs up and get the oil pressure up, we can open that, and then that comes into action. So just before we come back in to the pits, we shut it off again. Job's a good one.
I think what you do with that is you take that off. I guess that goes through there and clamps in there like that.
Maybe.
That's what I'm. Or maybe I suppose if it's underneath, popping out, it'd be like that.
Pretty good though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very
That's nice. Nice
So
bit of
that's your
kit.
Accusump system.
Very
Hopefully.
nice.
As I say, they do say that a 1-quart system, which I don't know what that is in pints, do you?
No
Ain't got a
idea.
clue.
American, innit?
They reckon a 1-quart's one would do, but this is more than likely probably about 3 pints, I would have thought. So, so yeah, hopefully that works, guys. Now, changing the subject, the Subaru Impreza, we know that we said on the channel that's your favourite car.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to building the engine?
I very much am looking forward to building the engine, and I've already been in and vapor blasted the crankcase.
Really?
Yeah, coming on the weekend.
And what is it you like about the Subaru, mate?
Well, I've just always liked them. Sort of what got me into cars, like watching rallying and stuff. My dad sort of got me into it, but it's just like the noise and the 4-wheel drive. The fact of seeing them 4-wheel drift round, gravel corners.
And it's it's probably one of the first Japanese cars that I've seen.
Yeah.
That come into the UK. I remember seeing one in '93, is it? So it must have been one of the first Imprezas.
Yeah, early one that.
And compared to most British cars, like even the Cosworth, they were a pretty decent
They look
bit
mental,
of kit.
didn't they? They look
proper
just
bit
look
of kit,
nuts.
and it was like way before the Skylines and all that started coming in.
I just like them. I think they're just cool cars.
Yeah, and it's a different, being a flat 4 and that, it's
Yeah.
obviously a bit better than the Volkswagen flat 4s. Not that
Yeah.
there's anything wrong with them, but yeah, a bit crude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And
yeah. Well, the only
good.
thing is, mate, there is a little bit of bad news.
What's that?
Apparently, Chris has been in touch with me the weekend, and the gentleman is not going ahead with the engine.
Oh dear.
He looks a bit disappointed.
no,
all that time shot blasting and that.
Yeah, all that time, sort of wasted.
Well, not exactly, mate.
We need to do this again.
I mean, how are you meant to look surprised
I don't know.
when you ain't surprised? Right, so Chris got in touch with me the weekend, and there's been a little bit of bad news. Now, I have informed Isaac of this because the reason I did, and I didn't manage to get it on camera, is because he was in here shot blasting the engine on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Although it's a valuable car and it's a really nice car, I think it's just a bit out of their price range, and obviously they've just bought the car, so it's all a bit disappointing. Don't know what their budget was, but yeah, they're not going ahead with it. So I've informed Isaac that we're going to do something with him on this car, so we're going to be helping him out.
Yeah.
Basically, I did say to Isaac, we're not going to go out and just buy him the car. I don't think, like I said to him, if he was my kid, there's no real benefit from just going out and buying. I don't think you learn from that.
No,
But
not really.
obviously, to get on the ladder of like I've always done, to get on the ladder towards that Subaru Impreza that you might want. Obviously, it's not worth going for crap. This is a really nice car, although it's a Legacy and not an Impreza. What we're going to do is help him, obviously, not charge him anything for the labour, machining. He can do all that for free. We'll help him out on the bits anyway, but the bits, you know, we'll do most of them at sort of cost. And I think he wants to pay for. You want to pay for the car? I've managed to do a deal with the bloke and get the car pretty cheap.
Yeah, I was thinking if I sort of pay for the car, that's that initial payment out of the way, isn't it?
That's it, yeah.
And it's like, then it's, I don't want to owe you loads of money for all sorts of stuff, including buying the car itself and everything.
Exactly. So you can buy the car and put it in your name. So he's obviously, he's getting the car for not a lot of money at all, really. And then whatever bits that he owes me for, we shall do over whatever term is comfortable for him.
Yeah.
Just pay me back whenever. But at least it gets him on the ladder with that Subaru.
Well, I was saying, I was chatting to my parents about it, and I was saying sort of without that, then I wouldn't be buying it, really, because I wouldn't be able to afford to just buy outright all the bits and everything. So
no, that's it. And obviously we've spoke with Isaac in the past about getting a bank loan or something like that, which is what I always did when I was buying cars. Fortunately, I mean, I think bank loans and what have you are fine, because obviously you've got to pay interest, but as long as you buy cars that you're not going to lose too much value on. So there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, you're going to... Fortunately for me, all the cars I bought in the past, or most of them, I've made sort of money on.
Turned out well, yeah.
Yeah, it turned out well. So if I guide him correctly, obviously we're doing it this way. He hasn't got to pay any bank loan interest or anything like that. So yeah, it just helps him get on the ladder. And then if he can get a bit more for that car when he wants to sell it and just work his way up, it's a little bit really like saving money, except you've got the goods straight away. And are you actually going to save that sort of money?
Well, that's the thing. I know what I'm like, and I'll just it'll disappear.
Well, we're all the same at that age, though, aren't we? We all just...
if I've not bought anything or ain't spent my money, then it's, we'll go away for the weekend and do this. And
yeah, you find that you sort of stick a couple of £100 1 month away, maybe the next month, and then it's all of a sudden something pops up, or
well, your mates want to go away.
I can just take 100 out of that, and but whereas you do it this way and you got to pay it, and that's the end of it. So that's what we're doing, guys. So next step, mate.
Well, the next step, I suppose, if
ordered all the bits.
Yeah.
You've blasted the
crankcase, so that that's done out of the way.
Yeah, so I've said to him what I would quite like in return is just do some footage on him building the engine. I'm sure everyone will want to see it, and obviously we'll get it in the car and do some footage of it in the car. Yeah, it's another car to the second channel, isn't it? Another car for the second channel. I did a little bit the other day, just when I was doing it. Well, before I knew that the bloke wasn't going to go ahead. Well, I did film a bit, but pretty nasty looking, the motor, wasn't it? Oh, so yeah, it was grimy. It can only be anything but that. So yeah, there we go, guys. Until the next video, where we'll show you a bit of what he's been doing on the Saturday and that, and see how good the crankcases are coming up. Let us know down in the comments what you think of that, and there we go. He's on the ladder. Got his first Subaru, the boy. Bloody brilliant.